Well, President Trump will hold a cabinet meeting today as he looks to seal a deal to end the war with Iran. Ongoing peace talks were put at risk after U.S. forces carried out what the military calls self-defense strikes on Iran. Now, Tehran threatened to retaliate, but today an Iran Revolutionary Guard official said the possibility of a renewed war with the U.S. is low. Robert Pape joins us now. He's a political science professor at the University of Chicago and the director of the Chicago Project on Security and Threats. Robert, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Let's break this down here. Can Iran and the U.S. reach a deal that would satisfy both sides? And after these latest U.S. strikes and the threats from Tehran, can each side even trust each other?
Well, there are multiple issues here, and on the multiple issues, they are zero sum. That is, Iran cannot both have a nuclear material and not have a nuclear material. That is zero sum. Iran cannot be fully in control of the Straits and not fully in control of the Straits. That is zero sum. And the problem here is when you try to roll in all of these zero sum issues together, you're likely to end up with what we saw over the weekend. Confusion, nothing really happening, these ideas of false progress here, because there are too many issues here that are zero sum, and they couldn't be resolved before the Iran war. Now the Iran war has made all these issues worse. So to try to solve all these in just all at the same time here is just simply unrealistic. This is not a real estate negotiation where the two sides walk in, they split the difference, and they go away, and they never see each other again. This is not the way to handle this negotiation, and that's why the public's confused. That's why the negotiations are effectively going nowhere, and we may end up going back to bombing because the negotiations are not being handled right.
Well, let's talk about the key sticking points here, the Strait of Hormuz and Iran's nuclear program. I want to play for you a clip from what Republican Senator Ron Johnson told our Major Garrett on the Takeout last night.
We cannot allow Iran to become a nuclear power. That's the bottom line. We can't allow them to be able to hold the Strait of Hormuz hostage, which is what they're doing right now. Looks like all the other regional powers are certainly lined up against Iran.
Now, Robert, on your Substack, The Escalation Trap, you question whether Iran even needs to close Hormuz to win leverage. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is the key thing the world is really worrying about are the prices of energy. And we should be focusing on this like a laser light, and we're just not in the negotiations. We're on these other issues that are much broader, but are not at the central core of what matters right now. And what we're missing here is that the fact is Iran can agree to let X number of ships through with certain fees, but that may not actually return the price of oil back to pre-war status. A lot of people who are watching this, they don't really care about all these details here. That's what I get paid to do, essentially. The fact of the matter is what they care about are things that they see every day, and they really want those prices to go down. Well, we're simply not. We're taking for granted that once we get this magical deal, everything will go back to normal. This is just a big mistake, and that's what I'm going to explain on the Substack. I'm going to explain like a laser light what exactly we should be focused on. And what that means is really stability. We need to understand what that would actually mean in this situation, economic stability. And the fact is, as you heard here, we're just all over the map with this whole variety of issues. I'm not saying you don't come to those issues at some point, but the idea that you're going to tackle all of these issues that we've been negotiating with Iran for years, actually 24 years, and we're going to solve all this. President Trump didn't solve the Ukraine war in 24 hours. He's not solving all of these issues in 24 hours. And the world is going to pay a gigantic price unless we start to focus on things in a more deliberate, systematic way.
All right, Robert Pape, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.